Welcome to Compai's Expat Channel. I'm Compai. I am Sasua's voice of reason. Guys, welcome to Casa De Compai. But more importantly, welcome to Compai's Cigar Club. And guys, today I want to talk to you about my cigars. There's a lot of places to rent in Sasua. If you're looking for peaceful, affordable, and tranquil, look at Casa De Compai, Sasua's hidden gem. When you're ready to reserve at Casa De Compai, my contact information is in the description down below. Guys, thank you for watching my ad. At Casa De Compai is where my cigar club is located. So let's talk cigars. Guys, I have three kinds of cigars, three different flavors, three different kind of blends. I have a Connecticut, which is my smoothest blend. And then I have a Corojo, which is a mild, full body blend. And then I have a Maduro, which is the full body. So if you're going to talk about it in a layman's term, we have the most smoothest. Then we have a little more full body. And then we have the strongest. When I wanted to develop my cigar line, I'll be the first one to tell you I knew nothing. I had no idea to really how to go about this correctly. So what I did is I actually hired a consultant. His name is Joan, a Dominican guy, great guy. He knows the cigar industry in and out. That's what he does for a living. And he's also a fantastic marketer. I will put his contact information down below. If you're looking to develop your own cigar line or market a business here in the Dominican Republic, he's a great guy to talk to. So he knows all the factories. He's part of that business. That's his industry. So I went to a buddy of mine named Mick who owns Steel Horse Cigars in town. I've known Mick for 15 years. And I said, Mick, you know, I really want my own cigar brand. I want my own line. But I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. I sure don't know enough to actually make a cigar myself. He said, John, I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to give you Joan's number. You're going to talk to him, and he's going to set you up. But he's not cheap. And I said, well, you get what you pay for. So I was so happy I went with Joan to develop my own cigar line. So what did we do? We basically went with a company called Artista. They're the ones who make my cigars. And one of the first things I was asked when I wanted my cigar line is, how do you want to market your cigars? Who are you marketing your cigars to? Well, I look at cigars like I look at good whiskey, good rum, good tequilas. When you got a really good bourbon, whiskey, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to cut that down with any kind of mixture. No Coke, no juice. Those high-end products should be able to stand on their own. Well, I wanted the same thing for my cigars. I didn't want to have to cover the flavor of my cigar with vanilla, rum, chocolate, and now I even heard they're making mango and other citrus flavored cigars. I don't want to do that. I wanted you guys to pick up my Connecticut, and if you're a brand new cigar smoker, you could be able to smoke the cigar and enjoy it and learn the joy of smoking cigars. If you're an experienced cigar smoker, I want you to be able to taste the blends that make up this cigar and appreciate the value that you're getting out of one of my cigars, because all my cigars are only 400 pesos. Till the factory raises the price, they will be 400 pesos. So that was my goal. Just put out a good product that the beginner can enjoy and the experienced cigar smoker can appreciate. I sat down with my sales rep at Artista and I said, listen, how are we going to design this cigar? So there's three things that make up a cigar. The first thing that everybody sees is the wrap. That's this outer band. And one of the mistakes that a lot of people make when they're smoking a cigar is they cut off too much. They come in with a guillotine and they just chop off way too much. Well, when they roll these, both ends are cut like this, and they just put a little cap on this. So all you want to do is nick this cap off to be able to get your draw through the cigar. And then what happens when you do cut off too much, you're cutting off the end where that's holding on the wrap, and it starts unraveling on you. So a little tip of the trade there. So you have the wrap, and then you have a binder. What the binder does, exactly like the name says, it binds the cigar together, because in the middle you have your filler. So they're the three different kind of leaves that make up your average cigar. Okay, so for an example, my Connecticut is, the wrapper is made from a tobacco leaf from Cameroon. That's what gives this color. Now a lot of people say the darker the leaf, the more intense it is. That's not always true. So just food for thought. The binder is a Cuban plant, a Cuban tobacco leaf. And then the filler on my Connecticut is a Dominican plant. And you can have a plant from Cameroon, but it all depends on the soil. That same plant's going to have a different flavor in Cameroon than it does down here in the Dominican Republic. And it even will change according to the soil where you're growing it in the Dominican Republic. So there's a lot more that goes into these cigars than just wrapping them together, rolling them, and just growing them. They got to be dried correctly. That's a whole other process, but I'm not going to get into that. But that's what makes up my Connecticut, and I'm big fan of the Connecticut's. The other thing that I'm real proud of, not only did I want to develop a really good cigar, you got to keep them fresh. Cigars are like wine. If you're able to keep them in the proper environment, they will get better with time. They will age. So that's why I got my humidors. I have two of these. My humidors are, the exterior is made out of mahogany. The interior is cedar. And we have our humidor gauges. I have two drawers where I held my bundles. These are my displays, my Connecticut, my Corrojos, and my Maduros. So this is how we store them. What I use, since we're in the Caribbean, we got enough humidity. What you want to do is keep them out of the sun. And that's why when guys say, I buy my cigars on the beach, well, they probably have been sitting in the sun, drying out for an extended period of time. You've got to keep them at the proper temperature. So I use these things called bovitas. And what bovitas do is they keep them at the correct humidity, because they're definitely not going to freeze down here. So it's all about humidity and sun. So what I do is I use the bovitas. We got the correct humidity. We got everything in the correct order. So that's why I wanted to build a more, I don't want to say gentleman's club, but this is an exclusive club for my clients and people who really appreciate cigars, who want to come in away from the madness downtown, want to come in, have a nice little place to hang out, have a cigar. I have high-end whiskeys. I got Hennessy. I got Maker's Mark. I got Woodford Reserve. I got Macallan's 12. And I'm always getting different bottles. So, like, I have buddies who are coming in a couple months. They're going to bring me in some Blantons, which I can't wait to have. So that's my goal with the cigar club / bar. And guys can hang out in the pool, smoke cigars, have a drink, and just enjoy a day. So, guys, that's what I've done in Casa De Compai. That's a little bit about my cigar. Guys, always remember, keep private personal and personal private. Peace out and be safe.